Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're doing a bit of a fun one, which is going to cause a lot of controversy. We're going to do my personal list for the top 5 worst heroes in AFK Arena, so let's get into it. Okay, so a few disclaimers at the start of how I did this. So the first thing I went to the wish list and I decided to go with one of each faction and two of one faction. It was just basically, I went through the wish list. I'm like, who like in an optimal world would be the last one that I put on every wish list for every faction, and then I just chose a second one for the other faction. So that's the way I've done it. And once before I even go too far, in all these lists, yes, every hero does have a use somewhere in the game, but obviously there's got to be a best and a worst, and this is my personal opinion. Before you guys get into watching my list, I want you guys to stop, pause the video, type your list. I want to see what everyone's list is before they see mine, just to see if we get any similarities. So here we go. We're going to kick it off. We'll look at portraits to go through it. Let's start from the bottom up. So we'll start with Graveborn. Now, Graveborn, I was tossing up between a couple. What I ended up going with was Kalfa. Now, I absolutely love Kalfa as a hero. I think his design, I think his aesthetic, his combat style, I love everything about it. It's just he's not that amazing. If we look at him, his ultimate, yeah, it's nice. It's a good AOE when it goes through everyone, and then he does good damage on the final attack. This one, he completely dodges incoming attack and does the counter attack. It's like, it's not bad, and he does gain some haste, so it's like damage. This one at the beginning of the battles, this is his main thing. He does actually have a good use. Like I said, every one of them will have a use in things like the Thorin cheese, because he can swap positions, increase the damage that enemy takes as well. Also in comps with Sophia, sometimes he can swap someone into that pyramid and make them take extra damage. So it does have some uses, but just overall, not amazing. And then finally, I really do love this though. This is why he's also good in the Thorin cheese, because he can die and then still do some damage and help Thorin out. But overall, he's just outclassed against the rest of the leather-wearing heroes here, being Baden, who's a beast for a boss. However, Baden is starting to drop off in boss fights, just because people are starting to use Grizzle more to get the attack and defense decrease on the enemy. So we'll see how it pans out. But then you got Pharrell, who's just an absolute god, and sort of he's the guy that no one ever puts on their wish list. The other one I was tossing up between is going to be Isolde, but I decided to go with Kalfa instead, just because Isolde sort of got a buff as soon as Odin came into the game, because he has a stun. This ability, he's going to use a stun for 3 seconds every 6 seconds. So every 6 seconds he's doing a 3-second stun, and you combine that with the fact that Odin stacks enemies on top and stuns them as well. They just become a really good stun lock between the two of them. So that's the reason I chose Kalfa for my worst Graveborn. Now, jumping into the Wilders. This is gonna really offend some people, because I know some people have this hero as like their #1 choice. They love the carry, but for me it's Kaz. Basically, Kaz, she just doesn't offer enough. Like, if you look at the rest of the Wilder heroes, they offer something like really team oriented and stuff like that. Like, she's just a single target damage dealer that can dodge. Basically, she's really frustrating, but that's about it. She gets all the extra dodge. Like, everything is just basically it's just all dodge and single target damage. There's nothing really that's completely amazing about it, besides the fact that she dodges. Like, to me, that's pretty much it. That's why she can be a good power leveled carry for early game and stuff like that, because you can power level above and she can actually dodge a lot and just solo through content. But besides that, you look at things like Iron, who can, he can CC, he drags them in, he freezes, he has the ignored defense. He's just an absolute beast. Leica bringing the haste for the team, the armor break, all that good stuff. And that's pretty much it for the leatherwearers in the Wilders. But she's just for me, she's one that I'd never really put on the wish list, because she really just doesn't offer too much to a team. Some people might put the tree there, but I just thought Kaz, like, Tree, sometimes you can get a use out of him. The Kaz, offer enough for me. So that's why she is the worst in my Wilders list. Okay, moving on to Maulers. Now, Maulers do seem to have a lot of not so goodness. They are definitely they're definitely the ones in the most need of a big buff. They need a few really good heroes. They do have Sophia, who's an absolute goddess. But besides that, Warwick's starting to emerge now as a good boss hero. And then obviously got Brutus for the damage immunity for a bit. But the rest of them like can be good. Chicken can be alright, but they really do drop off. The one I've chosen for the worst is going to be Citron. Now, Citron's got a couple major issues for me. One, she's cloth and she's melee. So, I mean, when you're a cloth wearer and you run into melee, you kind of want to have more mitigation. She's cool, but just not enough mitigation. So she does have this one here, where she reduces damage taken by 80% when she's doing that ability, which is kind of okay. Then she has this one here, which is going to heal her, which is okay once again for sustain. But when you get especially towards late game, it's just, you're going to melt, especially with the cloth armor. The other thing is this passive really frustrates me with her. It's basically the only way you get any effect from this passive is if she dies. Now, Screg used to have a similar passive before he got a complete rework. I really hope they rework this, because having a passive that only affects you if you die, and it's not even that great. It's like, if it was like instantly kill an enemy when you die, cool, but this is just like, drop a bomb when you die, like, and run away. I'm not a big fan of it. I hope that gets changed. And also her ultimate, it's not that great either. She puts the seed on them and they need to drop below 30% energy for it to explode. I don't know if it's changed recently, but when I tested it, using their ultimate doesn't count as reducing below 30. They have to be above 30 and use like something like Odin to reduce it down to make it explode. Actually, maybe that's a synergy we could test out, because he wasn't in the game last time I tried it, but that just came to mind. But you could try with Odin, but besides that, it's just really hard to make that actually affect, unless the enemy dies, and then of course you can do it. Now, it did used to actually cheese against it used to cheese against Thorin, where if you put this on Thorin, he wouldn't actually resurrect with it. I'm not sure if that still happens, but overall, just being a cloth wearer, going into melee and having a really bad passive and not enough mitigation or CC or anything like that, she gets to the bottom of the list for the Maulers. Now we get into light bearers, and for light bearers being that being the faction that most people like choose as their faction that they go for with faction scrolls and stuff like that, because they have so many good heroes, I've chosen two heroes to put on the worst hero list from them as well. They are just such a good faction, but yeah, they have a few that just don't shine as bright. So the first one we're going to go with is Rain. Now, Rain, once again, you can get some good use out of her. Pretty much the only use of Rain is going to be her ultimate, where she puts the symbol on the enemies, making them take extra damage. And if an ally kills the enemy, they're going to get energy really fast. And basically, if you get something like a Belinda that kills an enemy with an ult, she's just going to spam ults and she's just going to destroy people. But the problem with Rain was she used to be good in like Riz way back when and stuff like that. But the problem is basically that Rosaline and Rowan came into the game and they're just such better supports. I mean, Rosaline just like, so if we look here, she's like sort of supposed to be a pseudo support damage dealer, but she doesn't really deal damage. And then Rosaline's supposed to be like a full support, but she does like so much damage with these teacups, and it's quite embarrassing really how much damage the Rosaline as such a good support, how much damage she can also do. And then obviously Rowan, who's like the best non-celestial hypergene hero in my opinion. Those two coming into the game just basically shelved Rain for the rest of it, so that's why she's a bit of a meme at the moment. She doesn't get much love, but I do like her hero design for a light bearer, when I don't really like light bearer designs that much. A lot of them look like common heroes, looking at you, Belinda. But yeah, Rain, good design, but yeah, needs some work. She got a little buff about probably 5 months ago, but it wasn't enough to make her good. And the last one on the list is going to be my man Rigby. Now, I absolutely love Rigby. I reckon he's just a cool character, cool design. He falls into the category of he's not Lucius. So with the Lightbearer tanks, you do have Hendrik, who has a unique ability to knock back enemies, protect the back row and stuff like that. He actually has a function that Lucius cannot do. Then if we look at Estrelda, she's actually getting some use now because she has the really nice knockback to synergize as well. Also, she has the signature item and the passive tied to her ultimate, which is really nice. So they're getting some use. And then Gwyneth is the other plate wearer, but she's just amazing and she's not really a tank anyway. But then you look at Rigby, and Rigby is basically like a solo, like he's good for soloing, like he can self-sustain and stuff like that, but he just doesn't offer the team the support that Lucius does, which means you're never really going to want to bring him over Lucius, and you're never going to really want to bring both of them because you're always going to have a better option. So that is the reason he is going to fall on this list as well. So that covers my top 5, being the Rain, the Rigby, Citrana, Kaz, and whoop, baby's waking up. We're gonna go get that. But Kaz and the Kalfa, that is my top 5 list. I'm looking forward to seeing your list. Argue with me in the comments. I'm all cool with it. But that is gonna be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.